I'm Angelina Houston.
And I'm Sydney Robinson.
Our project focused on the influence of water sources on mammal communities in the western U.S. deserts.
So, as we all know, water is crucial for all life on Earth, and water sources in desert habitats are both integral and a limited resource. These water sources have been shown to increase competition and predation in their surrounding areas.
With this increase in competition and predation, there may be a decrease in specific species presence due to the presence of their predators. However, it has been shown that specifically anthropogenic water sources do have a positive impact on desert habitats.
So, throughout working on our project, we sought to answer the question of how does the presence or absence of these water sources affect the species richness and the relative abundance of desert mammals. We hypothesized that both the presence and absence of desert mammals will differ depending on the presence of a water source. We predicted that there would be an increase in species richness and abundance at sites that do have water sources.
So our data was sourced from the Snapshot USA database of trail camera sequences and their deployment information. All of our sites were within Arizona, Utah, and New Mexico deserts. And these were sites that had water sources and sites without water sources.
We calculated the average species richness and the relative abundance of mammals at 126 different camera sites, and 16 of these had a water source. We took our camera sites from 4 different areas between the years of 2019 and 2023. When counting the number of mammal species found at each site, we made sure to exclude humans, domestic species, and blank entries.
So these two graphs shown are regarding average species richness and average relative abundance of these 4 different areas and the sites within them. Both of these sites, when they were put into 2 separate paired t-tests, were both shown to be statistically insignificant. On the first graph for average species richness, Tucson, Arizona, with a water source, was shown to have the highest species richness. This was a suburban area. And on the average relative abundance graph, Salt Lake City, Utah, with a water source, was shown to have the highest average relative abundance, and this was in an urban area. This may indicate that the reason that the species diversity and species presence was so high at these sites compared to others was because of the numerous benefits and resources provided by urban and suburban communities rather than only the water sources themselves.
So, in the end, we discovered that our findings did not support our prediction or our hypothesis because the presence of the water source was not found to have a significant impact on the relative abundance or the species richness of desert mammals. However, our findings are consistent with results from other studies similar to ours that regard water source impacts.
Our results may have been different had we had more data. We only had 16 sites that had water sources, which significantly limited our data. And this may have had a great effect on the outcomes of our t-tests as well. So going forward, further research would need to be done to conclusively determine whether the influence of water sources on mammal communities is positive or negative. There's also something to be said about the fact that we didn't know the surrounding area around these water sources and the quality of the water sources themselves. So further research would need to be done to determine the answer to our question. Thank
Thank
you.
you.